Good evening, everyone. I'm David Preston with BMI and wanted to welcome you all this evening. We are certainly honored tonight to have you all here with us as we celebrate the life of Hollis DeLawfer, better known as Red Lane. He was one of the good guys, and God knows we've been losing a lot of good guys lately, and we're just glad to have this time together as we celebrate his life and his work as a songwriter. Red joined BMI in 1964, and he registered 352 songs with BMI in his lifetime. And tonight you're going to hear a lot of those hits. And we just want you guys to relax and get comfortable as we take a walk down memory lane with our friend Red Lane, and as we celebrate his life. Keyword, celebrate here. So thank you guys all for coming. Michael Manning is going to carry on the evening, so please welcome Michael Manning.
Thank you, David. I want to start off, and before I forget, and thank the great staff, everybody here at BMI for helping make this possible. David Preston, Jody Williams, and all the rest. We couldn't have done it without them. We also want to thank you all for coming. I know a lot of Red's family and relatives are here, and it's good to see them all in one place tonight. I guess I'm going to get choked up first, huh? Anyway, we want to remember Red. As David said, he was one of the good guys. He was a good friend to everybody in this room. He impacted the life of everybody here tonight, and the world was a better place with Red Lane around. So let's bow our heads and say a quick prayer. Heavenly Father, we feel certain right now that our friend Red Lane is with you and with all his friends and family who had gone on before. He's probably having a great songwriting session with Hank Cochran up there right now. And I know heaven's a much better place with Red in it. We miss him here, but we know at some point we'll see him again. We want to thank you for all the gifts you've given us, including our friend Red Lane, and we hope that you'll help us all to carry on that spirit of friendship that he installed in every one of us. Amen. Okay, and now to keep us on schedule, we've got a guy here who was a DJ, a weatherman. He was part of the Grand Ole Opry for 35 years. He's on Hippie Radio Weekly right now. He's got a lot of other projects going on. You'll see him on Larry's Country Diner. And what more can I say? He's a friend of Red Lane's, and he loved Red as well. Mr. Keith Bilbrey.
Thank you, Mike. Big hand for Mike Manning. Isn't he great? I was so honored when Mike called and asked if I would just sort of MC this thing. I loved, as you all did, loved Red. I don't remember when I met Red. He was just kind of there. I was thinking today, it was either through Buddy Killen or maybe Justin Tubb. They were the folks who brought him to Nashville. And, of course, we miss both of those folks very much. But Red was just always there. He was always ready with a smile. He would talk so low sometimes I'd have to really lean in to hear what he was saying. But I always wanted to hear what he was saying because it was always important. I was driving in tonight, and I happened to think of one story where when Eddie Arnold died, I went, of course, to the funeral, and I was standing outside, and up walks Hank Cochran and Red Lane, and they both had ties on. Well, I had never seen Red Lane or Hank Cochran in a tie. Not only were they ties, they were tied way too short. You could tell they hadn't worn a tie a lot. And I said, man, I never seen you guys in a tie before. And Red says, well, we wore this in honor of that old Cindy Walker song that Eddie recorded. Jim, I wore a tie today. And I dug that thing out and listened to it today, and man, it just brought tears to my eyes. They meant that in the most sincere way. They were honoring their friend Eddie Arnold and Cindy Walker. And I'll never forget that. They were funny little guys. Channel 4 was there, and they were looking for interviews. I said, well, if you really want to talk to somebody, go talk to those two guys. And I think the reporter was a little afraid of them. I said, okay, I'll go with you. But we got it on the air, got the story told. We've got a lot of folks here. Some of you probably knew Red a whole lot better than I did. And I'm looking forward to some stories, but most of all, I'm looking forward to music. I think we can all agree Red wrote his life and his autobiography in his music. And we're going to hear some of that today. First person up, a writer who's been around this town for a while, responsible for songs like Golden Ring, Baby I Lied, I Wish I Could Hurt That Way Again. Oh, I love that song. And a good friend of Red Lane's, Rafe Van Hoy. Rafe, come on up.
I have had an extremely lucky life. And part of it, or a lot of it, started out, actually, some of the luckiest part at Tree Publishing, where I met some amazing people. And Red Lane was one of them. He was kind of a hero of mine. Since I was a kid in Bristol, learning to play guitar, actually on this guitar, and listen to his records when you had to learn licks by going, and going, what was that? Very frustrating, but I never did get them exactly like Red, but I got some of them close. Never dreaming that I'd actually get to meet him, much less be friends with him and write with him and go up in airplanes with him. And it was made my life a whole lot richer knowing Red, and it was an amazing person. I learned so much from him about everything, and songwriting and guitar playing. And another person that I'd met around that same era was a guy named Larry Henley, who also got to be really close, dear friends with. And Red and Larry left us this past year, and they wrote this song that I'm about to try to do some justice to, hopefully. I won't be able to play it quite like Red, but I'll try to do it as good as I can. But a couple of years ago, Larry was over at the house, and he just started telling the story about how this song came about. And apparently he was with the New Beats back then and had a gig or something to do in London. And he had an appointment to write with Red when he came back. And he said, I was nervous because Red Lane was a great songwriter, and I hadn't written that much, and I knew I had to come up with something that was really good to walk in the door with. And he said, all the way back on the plane, flying back, I was going over titles and trying to think of things that sounded like it'd be a good title, and I thought, I guess I'll keep falling in love till I get it right. And he said, I told Red that, and of course the rest is history. It's always been one of my favorite songs ever, and everything about it, the words, the melody, and the chord progression, everything about it is just magic to me. And I'm privileged to get to try and play it for you now. My guitar is sitting on my car keys. See, I've got this jinx that happens to me when I play live because I never did it that much, and it's always chewing gum or something that gets in the way. Now it's my car keys. I'll just keep on falling in love till I get it right. Right now I'm like a wounded bird, hungry for the sky. But if I try my wings and try long enough, bound to learn to fly. I'll just keep on falling in love till I get it right. My door to love was opened down more times than in. I'm either fool or wise enough to open it again. But I'll never know what's beyond the mountain till I reach the other side. So I'll just keep on falling in love till I get it right. If practice makes perfect, and you're about as perfect as I'll ever be in my life. So I'll just keep on falling in love till I get it right. Till I get it right. Mr. Red Lang. Thank you, Red.
Wow. It's always one of my favorite Red Lane songs. I guess my favorite, though, had to be The Day I Jumped from Uncle Harvey's Plane. Was that not a masterpiece? It's the only way you will get me up in Uncle Harvey's plane is get me drunk. And thank goodness Tilden brought that jug around, and he reached that state of euphoria before he got in there. Red told me one time that he liked that song because he put a lot of his friends' names in there. Apparently all those people were real people in Red's life that he mentioned. I can't wait to hear Matraca Berg. This is going to be great. Like Red, she was honored by the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum's Poets and Prophets series, and has credited Red as one of her songwriting mentors. And can't wait to hear what she has for us. Jeff Hanna, by the way, it's good to see you. Love the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, always one of my favorites. Jeff Hanna, ladies and gentlemen. And his lovely better half, Matraca Berg. Matraca, where are you? There you go.
I was 4 years old when I met Red. He was a dear family friend, and he used to sit at the kitchen table when I was a little girl and sing to me and kind of egg me on until I'd learn the melody, and then he would jump to the harmony, and it was kind of the family business, but somehow Red just took it to another level for me and made me feel a part of it. And we finally wrote a song together a couple of years ago. And I'm going to attempt to do that. I was saving it for my next record, but I haven't made it yet. And the last time I saw Red at the rehab center, he gave me the gift of a really beautiful idea. And hopefully that'll be on that record too. I miss you. My first instrument was the piano, so forgive my guitar playing. Well, tonight the moon is a spotlight on an empty stage. The curtain's drawn and the night goes on in its own way. No coffee rings, no song to sing, just an empty page. just an easy way for you to say goodbye. And I'm wondering why, what the hell am I supposed to do? And it's just like you to leave me here to see me through. And it never ends, I just can't win when I can't fight. Oh, what an easy way for you to say goodbye. What the hell were you thinking, leaving me here like this? I know you never could stand to see me cry. And that may be your reasoning, but that don't make it right. It's just an easy way for you to say goodbye. And tonight, the moon is a spotlight on an empty stage. Oh, what an easy way for you to say goodbye. Oh, what an easy way for you to say goodbye.
Great job, Matraca. Ooh, there is no easy way to say goodbye to a friend like Red Lane, is there? But you know, the wonderful thing about songwriters is they leave behind so much of their soul, and we get to get out those records and listen and those tapes. And by the way, if you've never, I'm sure a lot of you are aware of this, it's kind of an inside crowd, but there are a lot of great YouTube videos on Red. Some at his home, the airplane, and some of him just sitting around picking, and check that out. I was looking at him today and brought back so many great memories. Well, you can't hardly think about Red Lane, as I mentioned earlier, without thinking about Hank Cochran. They were brothers from different mothers, I think, is the best way to put it. And Booth Calder Cochran, Hank's daughter. Hank's daughter is here. I'll get it out in a minute. And she wanted to tell about a special fund that has been established in Red's name. Have I got all that right? Okay. Okay, go for it. What the hell? I like
What
that.
the? Is this it?
That's the microphone.
Oh,
You just
hi,
hold
everybody.
it. You got
Oh,
it?
hold it?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I know.
Hi.
It's very complicated.
Honest to God, I was laughing with my mom today because I really don't know what I'm doing up here. I got in town 2 days ago, and my mom goes, "Oh, did I tell you you were talking at Red's celebration?" I went, "No." And I go, "What should I talk about? Should I talk about Hank and Red?" And my mom goes, "Honey, don't talk about them when they're not here to defend themselves." So Madeline told me I always had a really close relationship with Red, and so I just thought I'd tell you a couple things that I really liked about Red, and hopefully you guys can, see this in yourselves. But when my mom and Hank first moved to Nashville, I was 9, and at all times, we'd have like 40 or 50 songwriters in our house. We had 2 studios. It was just ridiculous. And so when Red first walked in the door, I'll never forget, he was wearing a t-shirt and his cut-off sweatpants and cowboy boots with white socks that like came up to here. And I looked at him and I went, oh God, not another one. And I know, I was pretty sassy for a 9-year-old. Oh God, not another one. He looked at me and he goes, well, baby, what's wrong? And I said, there's just so many songwriters in this house, I can't stand it. And he goes, well, don't blame the songwriters. Blame your mom and Hank, who got married 10 days after they met. And then back in those days, my mom used to always make everyone change before I woke up because she thought she could trick me into believing everyone went to bed and woke back up. And Red never did it. And one day, Red never did it. And one day I was coming back from school and he was out on the breezeway and I go, Red, why don't you ever do that change thing to, make sure? And he goes, well, I'm trying to figure it out. He goes, I can't figure out if you're just too smart and you figured it out or if they're too dumb to think you can't figure it out. I'm going with the smart. And I'm like, okay. Those are two things I love about Red. Red also would stay at our house for months at a time. Like, oh, I'm coming over for the day. It's like, okay, and he'd come in his little saddlebag with his hot dogs and his romaine noodles, and 6 months later, he's still there. But Roy did this last night, so I kind of want to tell this story, which is funny. Red loved to watch movies, and so we have one TV in our house in the den, and Red used to always start falling asleep. Mom would go, well, Red, if you're tired, just go upstairs. No, I'm good, I'm fine. No, don't. So, of course, he'd sleep down there. And by the time we woke up, his room was that den. And I always used to say it helped me with school because I'd have to read books because there was nothing else to do. And then another reason why I love Red is one time I got really sick and I was in the hospital for a week and Hank was out of town and Mom was out of town and nobody came to visit me but Red. Every day, the man of many words, our basic conversations, hey Red, hey baby. And then he'd just sit and play the guitar for like 3 or 4 hours. And then he'd go, okay, love you, I'm going home. I'm like, okay, Red, bye. And that was our kind of things when I actually did get into the den too. We'd watch movies and we wouldn't say anything to each other. We'd just watch it and watch it and watch it. And then Mom would come up to me and go, Red said he had a great time with you yesterday. And I was always like, what? We didn't do anything. And that was, and I also love it when, I know y'all got this. The phone would ring and you go, hello? 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 Red? Yeah. And I just spent so much time with Red, and I laugh. I really don't know him as a songwriter. When I first met Red, I thought Miss Emily's was a bar in Green Turtle Key. I thought Till I Get It Right was something that your parents always said. Keep on going, and I thought The World Needs a Melody was just common sense. And so, and I knew that he wrote with my dad and, and all that stuff, but I'm just here to say that he was such a special man. And, I have to say one more thing that I'm done, because I know this is a long thing, but it was real sweet. When Red got sick, Madeline would say, he's not eating, he's not eating. So I would rush in with like macaroni and cheese and Kentucky Fried Chicken. And Madeline will go, you can't feed him that. And I'm like, Madeline, he's not eating. Give him something he'll eat. And so he was so sweet because I'd literally have to put the food right in front of his mouth and just go, please, for me. And he would do it. And And in the end, when I just have to tell one more funny story, then I'm done. In the end, when he passed, we ran upstairs to the room, and I go, "Open the window, set him free." And my mom goes, "I swear to God, Rick, if you haunt this house, I'm gonna kill you." That's the Red I know loved. This really has nothing to do with Red, but since we're bringing it up, hi, Matraca. Matraca was kind enough to accept our invitation to do a show for what we call the Pen Fund, and it's inspired by Hank, and it's for songwriters with pancreatic cancer. What that has to do with Red, I can't figure out, but...
Susie, I've got to know, did he haunt the house? So far, so good. Okay. I remember one time when John Hartford passed away, I was out at his house, he had just passed away. And it was the strangest thing. I was sitting there with several friends, I think Earl Scruggs and Louise were there, and we were just all in a state of shock because John was gone, you know. And all of a sudden, a cloud came up right over their house there on the river. I mean, lightning and thunder. When I left the house, the roads around through there, Madison, were dry as a bone. But right over his house, it came the awfulest storm you've ever heard. And there was a wind vane or something outside. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it got knocked over. It made a terrible noise. And I remember Marie saying, "Oh my goodness, I've got both of them to put up with." And I said, "What are you talking about?" Said that had been given to him by a songwriter friend of his, Shel Silverstein. And she said, "I think Shel and John are up to no good tonight." And I think she's probably right. It kind of spooked me. Okay, let's get back to some music. Oh, I don't know if I'll make it through this one or not. Scott Amber collaborated with Red on many songs. Yes. And Red is one of Scotty's biggest supporters. And he's going to do, well, these songs. Look out, I warned you.
I wake up in the morning in a state of fright, on the wrong side of the bed all night, clinging to the broken heart inside my head. Open my eyes and I move my hand from round her pillow to the nightstand, and I straighten Miss Emily's picture by my bed. Go to the office, the work's piled up. I pour 3 fingers bourbon in my coffee cup, cry on my best friend's shoulder down the hall. I feel so lonely when I close the door. I bite my nails and I walk the floor. I straighten Miss Emily's picture on my wall. Look out my window and what do I see? Nothing but pain looking back at me, and all that my future means to me is tossing yesterday's love out into the wind. Straighten Miss Emily's picture now and then. Leave the office and I go downtown to a little bar we all hang around, laugh, drink beer, shoot pool, and have a ball. And when the laughter stops and the hurting takes hold. Reach in my pocket for my billfold, and I show Miss Emily's picture to 'em all. I stagger in the house and I slam the door, scatter my clothes all over the floor, wishing I could do the same thing in my head. Drink a beer and I eat a bite just before I turn out the lights. I straighten Miss Emily's picture by my bed. Look out my window and what do I see? Nothing but pain looking back at me. And all that my future means to me is tossing yesterday's love out into the wind. Straighten Miss Emily's picture now and then. And I wake up in the morning in a state of fright. Thank you.
Great job, Scotty. As Jim Lauderdale would say, I think you put the scald on that one. That was good stuff. You know, one of Red's friends couldn't be here tonight, but he did send us a video, and you all know him and love him, Mr. Roy Clark. And he, I think Red wrote his song, Love Takes Two, and I think he has some comments. Let me step back here so everybody can see.
Go.
Saying something nice about Red Lane, that's not a hard chore. The Red Man and I go back so many years, and all the things that we did, some of them on a dare. But it's just great to be able to say something nice to a fella pilot who we at one time had an airplane together. But me living in Oklahoma and Red in Nashville, he was flying it all the time, and I didn't get a chance to. But it's great. Once again, the skies are now safe all around Middle Tennessee, and I'm looking forward to seeing Red Man again very soon. Love you, my friend.
Roy Clark. That's reassuring, isn't it? We get to fly. Lily Syracuse is a young new artist from, I love this, Pumpkin Town, South Carolina. How appropriate at this time of the year. Red was a huge fan and supporter of Lily, and she's going to do one of his songs right now.
All right, well, I want to say I thought about writing everything down, but I was sure that I'd forget how to read once I got up here. So Red was so special to me, and took me under his wing, literally, about two and a half years ago. And I got the honor and the opportunity to learn from him and listen to him play his songs, play his instruments, sing with that beautiful voice. And just literally, I think everything the man did was fascinating. And I just have to say we are all so blessed to have gotten to spend time on this earth with him. And God, he left us so much music to listen to. So we're really lucky people. Thank you guys for having us tonight and for coming out to honor Red. We're going to sing you guys a song called Carrying Fire. I remember you loved me with all of your heart, and I know yours as well as my own, and I know you still need me, and you're out there somewhere. Maybe you're cold and alone, and I'm carrying fire, carrying fire, and I'm burning for you with a raging desire. I'm out of control with flames ever higher. Oh, what can I do? I'm hurting for you, carrying fire. A moth slowly circles a flickering candle, and the fire is all he can see. Well, if love is the feeling of one for the other, oh, then surely you're looking for me, 'cause I'm carrying fire. I'm carrying fire, and I'm burning for you. Oh, with raging desire. I'm out of control with flames ever higher. Oh, what can I do? I'm hurting for you, carrying fire. What can I do? I'm hurting for you, carrying fire. Thank you so much. And in the words of Red, I'm waving both arms at you, baby. I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Lily. Tell everybody in Pumpkin Town we said hey. You notice red air lane on the back here. I've got one of those. How many of you got one of those things to sew on? What, a patch? Yeah. I was trying to find it today. I was going to wear it tonight. I just sew it right here on this coat. Well, we got a song coming up now that is, again, one of my favorites. It says that Red and Merle Haggard wrote this song together. Merle didn't write this song. He sang the hell out of it, but he did. Singer-songwriter Mickey Milum is going to do this for us, performed on the Louisiana Hayride in the 70s and early 80s. Milum, Mickey Milum. And he's going to do my own kind of, she is going to do my own kind of hat. Can you tell I haven't met Mickey before? Hi, Mickey. It's good to see you. I'm so glad you turned out to be a beautiful woman.
I would say it didn't start out that way, but I don't want to really blow your mind. To confuse you further, it's actually Mickey Furman. I performed and did that stuff as a long time under that name, but I thought everybody would know Mike Milum's name, so I used that one. Just pull a name out of a hat. Ron Oates introduced me to Red Lane, and he, for some reason, said he wanted to write with me. He came to the house. he was December molasses to my rabid chihuahua. I was like, can I get you coffee? Can I get a sandwich? Can I get a salad? You want to? And he lay down on a chair with an ottoman with his guitar on his chest and looked at the ceiling and said nothing for about a half an hour. Finally, he would talk a little bit about writing something, and he'd play one of those killer songs that he wrote. And I'd ask him if he wanted a sandwich again. But anyway, you know, we grew into a great friendship and great writing relationship. Matraca, what a jewel of a song to have left you with. I don't even know how you sang that. I learned when Red was coming over, you didn't have a morning writing session or an afternoon writing session. You just kind of cleared the day or two. And we finally, after about a year, wrote a song, finished a song about a Louisiana woman. Now, we were born at opposite ends of Louisiana. A woman who basically pushes her husband off the edge of the dock where there might be alligators because he presumably molested their child. So here we are with a child molester eaten by alligators song. And if there's an artist out here who has a hole in your next album for that, you know, please see me because I have not met you yet. But anyway, every time he left, I'm a keyboard player, he's a guitar player. He had those passing chords. You know, they went by before you could even analyze them. And I'd be on the piano for an hour after he left trying to figure them out. But just a sweetheart. And somehow he managed to leave, making every one of us feel like we were his best friend. I don't know how he did it. There was no other song that suited him more than this next one. But I would like to take him to task because he always explained to me the science of third verses and this and that and songs needing to be. This has one verse and one chorus. And, you know, Red lived on another plane. Man, a few words. But God, what words. There's cowboys and outlaws and right guys and southpaws and good dogs and all kinds of cats. Dirt roads and white lines and all kind of stop signs. But I stand right here where I'm at, 'cause I wear my own kind of hat. There's two kinds of lovers, two kinds of brothers, two kinds of babies to hold. There's two kinds of cherries, two kinds of fairies, two kinds of mothers. I'm told. Cowboys and outlaws, and right guys and southpaws, good dogs and all kinds of cats. Dirt roads and white lines and all kinds of stop signs. But I stand right here where I'm at. I wear my own kind of hat. Well, there's two kinds two kinds of babies to hold. There's two kinds of cherries, two kinds of fairies, two kinds of mothers, I'm told, I'm told. Well, cowboys and outlaws, right guys and southpaws, good dogs and all kinds of cats. Dirt roads and white lines and all kinds of stop signs, but I stand right here where I'm at, 'cause I wear my own kind of hat. Cowboys and outlaws and right guys and southpaws, but I stand right here where I'm at. I wear my own kind of
Mickey Milum. Boy, he did too. All his life he wore his own kind of hat. Well, I'm going to change the order here just a little bit because we had a little technical difficulty. We lost George Strait's remarks, but I'm going to bring them to you in just a minute. Meanwhile, Meline Stone's going to come up with us. A lot of you know Meline, longtime friend and collaborator of Red, and she organized this memorial, and we're real pleased with that. Give her a big hand.
Let's see. I don't have a lot of practice speaking into a microphone, so. I met Red. Can you? Better?
Yes.
I met Red and I moved to Nashville in I was going to say 1885. That's how I feel. I moved here in 1885 and I met Red okay, let's start again. I met Red in actually we're 1885 here. 1986 is when Red and I started going out. I moved to town in 1985 and I signed with Tree Publishing, and Donna Hilly introduced me to Red and said to me, you two would be a great couple. So I said, well, great, so we met each other and I really liked him immediately. And I started hearing jokes like, how long does it take Red Lane to watch 60 Minutes? And then the answer was 90 minutes. But I didn't really understand what they were talking about until we got into our relationship. And I would send him to the supermarket with a list of like 3 things for breakfast. And he'd come back 3 hours later. And because on his way he would see an interesting building or something and he'd go, I don't know what he did. I don't know who he met on the way, but he just couldn't come home with coffee or anything. It took him 3 hours to get home. So that's what I figured 60 minutes for 90 minutes might mean. And when he'd say, I'll be right back, that didn't mean anything. When he came to visit my parents in Florida for the first time, I grew up in a family where my mom, if like I had one hair out of place or if my shirt was untucked or something, I would get yelled at. And when Red and I was packing for the trip to go to Florida, I watched the suitcase. He had these overalls and they were ripped up both sides like this. And everything that went in that suitcase was beyond anything I've ever seen in my life. But he never changed. He always wore the same cut-off sweatpants, a t-shirt that had faded letters, high socks, and that's how he came and he met my mom. And I was trying to, wanting to have the good impression. I was as neat as I could be, but that didn't help. And he did this great thing for my mom. She had broken her hip and she had a walker, and he went out and bought a basket and put a horn on it. And so she could carry her magazines and her coffee in it. And she just loved him then too, because he was really sweet and wonderful. And when I moved here, I didn't really know that much about country music. And so I really loved Red because of who he was as a person and because he was funny and he was kind and he liked my dog, which was nice. I used to call him Jack LaLanne because he never walked once since the day I met him. He would never exercise. I used to say, "Are you Red Lane or Jack LaLanne?" Tonight I'm singing a song that Red, it's a song that I wrote, but Red always wanted me to go out and sing it with him, and I wouldn't do it ever because I see myself as a writer and not as a performer. And I don't have a lot of experience singing in front of people. And so I always told him, no, I won't do it, I won't do it. No, I'm too shy. And he always tried to give me a lot of encouragement. But because I just think tonight it would be a good thing to do since we're celebrating him. And since I want to do something that I wouldn't do before, I'm going to do it now. And this was a song that he always encouraged me to do it, so here I am. And I hope this is transposed or I'm screwed. Okay. Let me start again. Dear John, sorry I left the place a mess. Please send my mail to this address. And I would like to wish you happiness, dear John. And John, the stereo we bought last fall, I left the speakers on the wall. Sorry I couldn't leave it all. If there is any problem, call, dear John. I kept the good times that we had. I threw away the bad. The best of you will always be a part of me. Looking ahead, I'm gonna make another try. My eyes are open wide and almost dry. Dear John, cleaned out the closet, and by the way, I took your laundry in today. Left the receipt out on the tray. It'll be ready for you Saturday. And John, I kept the good times that we had. I threw away the bad. The best of you will always be a part of me. Here is my half of this month's rent, and here's the key. Very truly yours, sincerely me. P.S. Better be going on my way. I hope we meet again someday. Now there is nothing left to say except maybe damn it and hooray. Dear John.
Great job, Madeline. I know that was tough for you. What a great song, too. I love that. Damn it and hooray. How many of you had a situation that ended kind of like that? Yeah, you understand what that's all about. Well, George Strait sent in some remarks that he wanted read today. Of course, he recorded Haven't You Heard? That was written by Red and Wayne Kent, one of my favorite songs. And Tell Me Something Bad About Tulsa, which was written by Red. And George sent this message. I was very fortunate to be able to record some of Red's songs, as were many iconic artists such as Merle Haggard, Waylon Jennings, and Conway Twitty, just to name a few. Songwriters of his caliber are few and far between. Amen, brother. And we all miss him. G.S. George Strait. And we've got some remarks. I don't know whether this can be shown on regular TV or not, but that ought to be good. From Merle Haggard and Willie Nelson. Merle recorded 29 songs written or co-written by Red. Red played guitar on many of Haggard's records and frequently traveled the road playing guitar in Haggard's band, The Strangers. Red once told me he was an honorary stranger. Willie and Red go back as friends to when Red moved to Nashville in 1964. They were all part of that Cedarwood group and wrote at the Pamper House. And thank God that, Susie, you and Hank preserved the Pamper House out at your house. Willie was first to cut Red's Blackjack country chain, and a county chain, I should say. And here are remarks from Merle Haggard and Willie Nelson.
The BMI Memorial for the great Red Lane. Red was a friend, but he was more like family to me. Over the years, we spent a lot of Christmases together and things of that nature, and he became recognized in my family circle as one of the family. And it was a great loss, but I'm glad he didn't have to suffer any more than he did. And I can say that we more than one time had things happen that was beneficial to BMI. We wrote at least, I think, 2 songs. It was charters, and one of them being My Own Kind of Hat. I can remember more than one time when we had a big dinner and Red was there. He and I would sit down and play, and no matter it seemed like where we were at, we could bring the room down to a hush where you could hear Red. He never was loud, but the things he did on the guitar were really good. And he had a style. I loved him very much. I'll just say it on behalf of, I know Teresa felt the same way about it. On behalf of our family, our whole family, we loved him a lot. This is Willie. This is your big day, and I just want you to know we all love you, and we hope you're happy wherever you are.
That speech is about as long as what Red would have given Willie. We're going to end our program tonight. I do want to tell one more little story about Red. He was so special to me, and I love that airplane he lived in. How many of you ever been to the airplane house? Most of you have been there. You'll understand what I'm talking about. And I decided my grandchildren needed to see that house. And I called Red and I said, you mind if I bring my grandkids out? And he said, no, I'd love to have them. So we went out there and he met us at the gate in the golf cart with the cut-off shorts and the real long socks. They got a wonderful impression of him right off the bat. But he was so kind to them, and we were sitting there in his living room, and you folks who have been there, you know there was a couch there, and there was a table over here. It had 3 tiers on it, and each of the tiers had some airplanes, old airplanes. Looked like they were given out as promotional items for maybe an oil company. I think the one I'm talking about particularly is Texaco. And, of course, my grandson, who was, 4 at the time, he was admiring those airplanes. And Red said, I tell you what, anything except that top shelf, you pick out what you want. And he gave him one of those airplanes and signed it. And I'll never forget that. And my grandson, the next morning, his mother sent us a picture of him sleeping with his airplane. It meant a lot to him, it meant a lot to us. I wanted to bring it in tonight and show it to you, but he wouldn't let me have it. So We're going to end the night tonight with Ray Fanhoy is going to come back up and play guitar for us. And on the back of your program, you will see the words to "The World Needs a Melody." Doesn't it indeed, especially right now? And we want everybody to sing along and remember Red. You know, Red had a song that, I remember the first time I heard this, it hit me deep. He said the lyric is, "There's a little bit of Jesus in everybody." He believed that. And if kindness and compassion and creativity are all a part of Jesus, then Red had a big lump sum of Jesus in him. Rafe, if you would get us started, and we'll do "The World Needs a Melody." Thank you all for coming. Again, what a great honor to get to do this. Mike Manning, thanks to you. Did you want to say something? Yes.
Invite everybody up that sang tonight. If you want to come on stage, Patricia, guys, come on up and sing along when "The World Needs a Melody." Thank you all again.
Okay. Anytime you're ready, Rafe.
Yeah, if y'all know all the words of this, sing any of them that you know. If you don't know all of them, you can sing the gospel parts when we get to it's on the back of the program, right? The more the merrier. I need all the help I can get. What's that? Well, I prefer that myself too. Can y'all grab them? You got a, where's that? Oh, you got a mic. Okay. The world needs a tune that it can hum. World needs a melody and a guitar you can strum. Sorry. The world needs a melody that it can sing, 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 sing. How let's all sing together in the sweet by and by. You will meet on that beautiful shore. Together, the world needs a bell that it can chime, 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 chime. The world needs a drum to keep in time. The world needs a melody that can sing, 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 sing. Held that out too long, didn't I? Now let's all sing together. We'll fly away, oh glory. We'll fly away. Together. Sorry, Red. The world needs a reason to clap its hands. The world needs a leader for the band. The world needs a melody that can sing, 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 sing. Now let's all sing Give us that old time religion, give us that old time religion. Together in the sweet by and by, in the sweet by and by, give us that old time religion. Thank you all for coming out to have a tribute to our dear friend Red Lane. We will miss him always.